Hey everyone, and welcome back to another explainer. You know that feeling when you're staring at one of those family relationship riddles and your brain just completely ties itself in a knot? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, you're in the right place today. We're demystifying these complex blood relation puzzles. We're going to take those confusing, tangled clues and break them down using a foolproof, highly visual method.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. Take a look at these two classic blood relation puzzles, originally written in Hindi. This is exactly the kind of thing you might encounter on a logic test. Honestly, they look pretty intimidating, right? It's just this massive wall of names and connections. If you try to hold all of that in your head at once, you'll get lost, for sure. That's exactly why we're treating this like a detective case. We aren't just reading here, we are actively gathering evidence.
So, here's our investigation roadmap for today. 1. Cracking blood relation puzzles. 2. Case 1, Priya and Asha. 3. Case 2, Kavita and Manish. And finally 4, the family tree formula.
All right, Section 1, Cracking Blood Relation Puzzles, the detective's approach.
You see, the absolute biggest mistake people make with these puzzles is passive reading, just staring at the page hoping the answer magically jumps out at them. To find the truth, we actually have to build a visual map. We use a tool called family tree mapping. It's brilliant because it tracks generations vertically, marriages horizontally, and siblings side by side. By converting all that confusing, jumbled text into a clean, visual hierarchy, the structure literally reveals the answer to us.
Moving right along to Section 2. Case 1. Priya and Asha untangling the Deepak family.
So here are the raw clues for our first case. We'll translate the Hindi text into English as we go to establish our cast of characters. The puzzle reads like this. Karan is Deepak's son, Geeta is Deepak's daughter, Asha is Deepak's wife, Sanjay is Karan's son, Priya is Karan's wife. How is Priya related to Asha? And it gives us 4 options: brother, mother, daughter-in-law, or mother-in-law. Reading it out loud, it honestly sounds a bit like a tongue twister, doesn't it? Actually, it's more like a giant logic trap. But let's stay calm and rely on our mapping method.
Let's walk through these clues chronologically, kind of like a detective pinning evidence to a corkboard. Step 1. The text tells us Karan is Deepak's son and Geeta is Deepak's daughter. Okay, so we place Deepak right at the top and draw lines down to his children, Karan and Geeta, who sit right next to each other as siblings. Step 2. Asha is Deepak's wife. Simple enough, we draw a horizontal line connecting Deepak and Asha at the very top. They're basically the root couple of this whole puzzle. Step 3, we look at Karan's specific family branch. The text says Priya is Karan's wife, so we draw a horizontal line connecting Karan to Priya. And finally, Sanjay is Karan's son, so we just drop a line down from Karan to Sanjay. Boom, we've just mapped out all the evidence.
Now this part is absolutely crucial. Let's look at the generational breakdown we just visually established. Generation 1, our top layer, consists of the parents, Deepak and his wife Asha. Generation 2, the middle layer, consists of their kids, Karan, Geeta, and, by marriage, Karan's wife Priya. Generation 3, down at the bottom, is the grandchild, Sanjay. By organizing the information this way, it's amazing because we can immediately rule out certain relationships. Anyone in Generation 2 obviously cannot be the mother or father of someone in Generation 1, right? The visual structure is doing all the heavy lifting for our logic.
Okay, we've got our map, the generations are perfectly sorted out. So, let's look back at the original question posed by the text. How exactly is Priya related to Asha? Trace the lines on that mental corkboard we just built. I'll pause for a quick second to let you make that final logical leap.
And the answer is Bahu, which translates to daughter-in-law. The logical link is completely undeniable once you see it mapped out. We know from Generation 1 that Asha is the mother of Karan. We know from Generation 2 that Priya is horizontally connected to Karan. She's his wife. Therefore, the wife of Asha's son is Asha's daughter-in-law. Case 1 is officially closed. By just drawing it out, what seemed like a totally confusing jumble of names became a simple, straight line of logic.
All right, let's tackle Section 3, Case 2, Kavita and Manish, the Manish family mystery.
Here's our next set of clues. Translating the text, we get Deepak is Manish's son, Anita is Manish's daughter, Pooja is Manish's wife, Rohit is Deepak's son, Kavita is Deepak's wife. How is Kavita related to Manish? The options here are grandfather, brother, daughter, or daughter-in-law.
Now, because you are totally equipped with this visual mapping tool, I guarantee you are going to solve this puzzle significantly faster than the first one.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how familiar it's going to feel. We are building this tree using the exact same chronological steps as case 1. Step 1. Manish is the father to Deepak and Anita. We draw the line straight down. Step 2. Pooja is Manisha's wife. Horizontal line up at the top. Step 3. Deepak is married to Kavita, and they have a son named Rohit, so horizontal line connecting Deepak and Kavita, and a line dropping down to Rohit. As this all comes together, you should honestly be getting a really strong sense of déjà vu.
Let's quickly map the generations again to prove just how consistent this visual method really is for organizing dense information. Generation 1 is Manish and Pooja. Generation 2 includes Deepak, Anita, and Deepak's wife, Kavita. Generation 3 is the grandchild, Rohit. The structure is literally identical to our first investigation. The cast of characters has changed entirely, but the scaffolding holding them up, it's exactly the same.
So let's ask the final question for this second case. How does Kavita connect to Manish? Look at Generation 2 to find Kavita. Look at Generation 1 to find Manish. Trace that line between them.
The answer, once again, is Bahu, or daughter-in-law. The answer is exactly the same as the previous puzzle. Kavita is married to Deepak. Deepak is the son of Manish. Therefore, Kavita is married to Manish's son, making her the daughter-in-law. The logic is totally flawless, and by mapping it visually, we bypassed any potential traps or confusion completely.
Which brings us to our final section. Section 4, the family tree formula, cracking the code.
And this brilliantly illustrates a fundamental truth about logic puzzles. Just look at the structural parallels side by side. In case 1, the core path was root father Deepak down to son Karan, across to wife Priya. In case 2, the core path was root father Manish down to son Deepak, across to wife Kavita. Once you recognize that underlying structural pattern, the specific names literally don't matter at all. The test creators simply took a single relational template, the daughter-in-law template, and swapped out the names to trick you into thinking these were two completely different questions. But our visual map exposed their trick instantly.
So here is your ultimate takeaway formula. When you're faced with a blood relation puzzle, whatever you do, don't panic. Instead, follow these 3 rules. First, identify the root couple to establish your top layer. Second, map down the generations using vertical lines for children. Third, map across marriages using horizontal lines for spouses. If you follow this rule, you will never get lost in a paragraph of names again. You are literally turning a confusing block of text into a clear, undeniable picture.
We've seen today how a structured, visual approach totally cuts through the noise, turning a frustrating riddle into a perfectly solvable case. The next time you encounter a complex logic problem, remember to map those connections out and let the structure reveal the truth to you. So, with these new detective skills under your belt, whose family tree will you logically map out next?